And welcome to the eighth episode of 3 Minute an Opinion. Actually, today it's 2 minute an opinion.
Yeah, so
So,
I guess we should rename this like 2.5 Men. Oh, that
okay,
might already be taken. I don't know.
I think that might run up against legal.
Oh
Legal
well,
might have a
hey, if we
problem with
get
that.
sued, we know we made it, and somebody actually knows about this shit.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
point there.
I don't
Um,
think we have a thing to worry about.
um, so there's not a lot of gaming going on these days. It never is. I've been playing I got a Nintendo Switch since the last episode, and I've been playing that a lot. Although Zelda Breath of the Wild is frustrating as hell. It's just it's just frustrating, and so I'm trying to find another game that's fun. These days I just want to get home from the office, throw in a video game, and just get lost in mindless killing or mindless platforming or something. Every single game I tend to pick up these days has ultra complex, and you have to go through missions. It's a story, and you're like, no, I just want to kill something.
Go to Elite Dangerous. You
No,
went
that's
you went
exactly what I'm
you went
talking about.
mind numbing.
That's like playing Sea of Thieves all by yourself. No thanks.
No man, run data missions and you buy a new ship.
But I was thinking maybe I'd go back to Republic Commando, which is now backwards compatible for the Xbox One for the original Xbox. So there's
Along
that.
with Battlefront 1 and 2 and
KOTOR 2, Jedi Starfighter, Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy, or whatever. All Star Wars.
a bunch of other Star Wars non-Star Wars games.
Yeah, Mercenaries. That's one game that I want to go back and play.
Mercenaries. What was it? Oh, Destroy All Humans is now
That's another one.
there. I actually wish I had bought it so I could play it again. I only rented it back in the day. That tells you how long ago it was.
Yeah.
When was the
Yeah.
last
So, I
time you
mean,
saw a Blockbuster you could rent a game from?
right.
Exactly.
Blockbuster. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So the only real gaming news I heard is that there's really no news on Crackdown 3. It's supposed to release in 3 months. We haven't heard anything. Interesting.
well, it was supposed to be spring of 2018,
Well,
and
it's spring now.
yeah. So it's not feeling it's not feeling very confident on that one now, is it?
Right. And I keep hearing rumors of a new Xbox from Microsoft. And if that's the case, how the hell can they do that?
Now, see that one I have not heard. Where did you hear that one?
It was on a forum on Reddit somewhere.
I mean, I remember back. Remember when what shouldn't bring me anything?
Well, I'm sorry. If you want to come down, if you want to stop the podcast and come down over here, I guess you could have some of this. But it's too bad.
And what orange juice
No,
or a McFrappe? Fuck shit.
no, it's a McCafe. It is a pomegranate. Oh crap! Pineapple mango pineapple smoothie from McDonald's.
Ah, McFrappe. Okay,
Oh,
gotcha. So
so
good you'll choose yourself.
well, it was not. It was the rumor. Going back to the rumor on the Xbox, it was not necessarily like from a gaming side. It was just they were hiring developers for something, and Sony's kind of teasing a PS5 coming out soon, and so people were thinking, maybe hey, Microsoft has something up their sleeve, but they have completely lost my trust with the Xbox One. There are almost no exclusives. There, whatever exclusives they are don't get played, at least by my friends. I can't. I won't do it. I
Well, yeah. I
won't.
mean, I'm not even on much anymore to play. I think I played maybe Sea of Thieves 2 or 3 nights, maybe, but it's usually late on a Saturday night. It's like 10 p.m. to midnight, but that's just because that's my gaming schedule. That's when I have time. to sit down and can actually get in a session with somebody rather than, oh, here's 20 minutes, let me jump in real quick.
And that's not a 20-minute game. That's a game where you need a minimum of an hour to do something.
Right. So, I mean, there's State of Decay 2, which when is that out yet, or is that? I know it was sometime soon, and it's supposed to be like this week or next week, maybe.
I don't know.
It's just there's not much to capture attention anymore. It's
The games that you have now are heavily involved. You don't have time to sit down, time to jump in, play something, and get out. 20 minutes,
right.
And as parents with kids, we don't have that time.
Right, and it's just unless you want to stay up till midnight every night, and that's brutal.
Right.
So the only thing about this, remember back when Microsoft was talking about the Xbox One X, and instead of buying, remember the whole upgraded console bit and all that?
Yes.
It was that. So I could see them doing another iteration of the Xbox One X, maybe a little bit faster, but I mean, really the thing, I mean, I would imagine if it's early rumor stage, it's probably at least a year away, which would put it 18 months after the last one, maybe. I don't know.
But even still, where are the games to go with it?
Right. Because, I mean, at this point, even like the third-party games, there's not much. I mean, I know, yes, E3 is around the corner, and maybe we'll see something there that grabs us by the balls, but I really don't have a lot of hope for it. I don't. I mean, are they going to show what? Halo 6? Finally? Maybe Crackdown 3?
Uh-huh.
Maybe. What else is there? Another football game. Another Forza.
Possibly
Okay.
Division Part 2 or the Division 2.
Yeah, I mean that's possible, but did it really stick that much to play a second one?
I mean, there's a ton of story to go in terms of like the world that
The
it lives
world,
in, but
right?
but it would have to be massive, and I'm not just talking about the like one borough. I'm talking it would have to be all 5 boroughs of Manhattan to pique my interest.
You mean of New York City,
Yeah, what I say.
Manhattan,
Oh
which is what
well,
we had in the first game.
right. It would have to be more than Manhattan. It would have to be Manhattan, Brooklyn, Long Island. I mean, all 5 boroughs. Just bring it on. Bring it all.
Yeah, I don't know. I need something to grab my attention. What was the big one they had at the end of the show last year that was supposed to be the Destiny killer or whatever?
Anthem.
Anthem, is that what it was?
Yeah,
Oh
that'll
no,
be out
I keep
spring of
getting
next
that
year.
confused with a insurance company. You know, I don't know. It's just the- it's kind of dull.
Yeah, it's very
At
dull.
least from where I sit, half the time even if I have 20 minutes, what do? I instead of going to my console and getting a quick pick me up game of Halo 2 like it used to be, I just grab my phone and I play whatever on that just to sort of pass the time.
Right, same here.
Um, and just looking at the news, it's just boring. I don't care about Overwatch. I stopped caring about Destiny again. I found I'm just not involved in it. And even with stuff on Steam, I've got a gaming PC. What am I playing? I'm playing the same thing I was playing on the Xbox. Just because it looks really fucking gorgeous. I mean, there is that. But,
right.
at the end of the day, there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Nothing to do.
On the bright side, a big movie came out, and I think we might want to talk a little bit about Overboard and the remake that about Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. So
No, what really? I mean, you're going for that old tired joke.
What tire joke?
Oh, hey, a giant movie came out and we're going to talk about, it's amazing and hilarious and a must see in theaters, and then some scrub movie that half the people haven't even heard of.
I'm pretty sure
I
I
mean,
did say
when you're saying, what was it, Overboard? Is that
yes.
like the sequel to Overwatch, the game? I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, with all that, trying to build it up and say it was this great movie. I can tell you one thing, and it was no Rampage.
Rampage
Absolutely.
blew chunks.
Rampage was hilarious.
It was horrible.
What did you expect?
I expect a little bit better than Pacific Rim Uprising.
What did you expect? I mean, honestly, okay, The Rock, based on a video game, and The Rock. I mean, did you expect anything other than what was on the screen?
I expected a little bit more. I don't know.
It was cheesy one-liners, plot. Okay, big monsters destroy city.
I don't know. For some reason, maybe it was because it was scrunched between the movies that I actually did see, and it was kind of hard to take, because when you go from Infinity War to Rampage to Ready Player One, that's like putting a little.
I'm not saying it compares, but honestly, it was fun. It was stupid fun. That's all you expect going in. That's what you get. Again, like Pacific Rim Uprising, like any monster movie prior to the last Godzilla and King and Kong, you know, and even then those somewhat qualify. But it's disaster flick. It's a Rock. Dwayne Johnson is Mr. Disaster Flick of this decade. You had San Andreas, which this movie might as well have been a sequel to.
Yes.
Somewhat. I mean, it follows almost the exact same idea. Now he's got what is it, Skyscraper coming out, which is like the next version of Die Hard.
Right.
Okay, they even if you've seen the trailers for it, I assume.
Yes.
Okay, so they even one up Die Hard. Instead of Bruce Willis not having any shoes, The Rock doesn't even have any legs.
No, he's just one leg.
No, I thought it was both. Is it just one? Okay, so he doesn't have a one leg. Okay, whatever. The joke still works.
What's funny is that he jumps from a crane onto the building with no momentum, and that's like, damn. I mean,
I know, and it when you see the jump in this thing, it's like there's no way he's gonna get to it, but of course he does, and the rope slapped around his mechanical leg, and then you start to see it go click as it starts to come apart. And honestly, I still want to go see it. I know it's going to be stupid, but I enjoy that. I can go to the movie, I can turn off my brain, and just watch stupid shit. I mean, Battleship, I go back to that. I enjoy the hell out of watching Battleship, even though I've seen it probably 6 or 7 times now, just because it's so stupid.
But see, I can watch a Pacific Rim and enjoy that, because that's given me something that I haven't really seen before. Whereas Rampage, how many monster movies in a city do we already saw that movie? We saw Pacific Rim Uprising. It was the same, pretty much the same movie.
Right. I'm not going to deny that. It's just fun to watch shit get smashed.
Yes, it was amusing, but they fell along the same tropes where, oh my, they had the military commander who wouldn't budge, and he knew how he was going to do his job. Oh yeah, even though he does it, he kills like 15,000 people.
But yeah, that exactly. I don't expect originality when it comes to that. I expect, and it was sitting there, and I was there with my 8-year-old daughter. We were there. She wanted to go see it. That's why I wound up there. I saw that and Infinity War on the same day. And so she wanted to go see it. And so I'm sitting there and I'm telling her what's going to happen in the movie before it happens. And she's like, looking at me like, "How did you know that?" I'm like, "This movie has been done 30,000 times with slightly different characters." I mean, but the thing about it that was so great is, yes, it is everything in it is a trope. I mean, you've got this guy who had, the main character, the hidden badass. I don't remember what the actual trope's called, but he's the man of mystery who had, the prior military service that's highly classified, and now
Are you
he's
talking about the Harry Dean Anderson? Not Harry Dean Anderson. What the guy with the gray hair?
no,
Who was
the Rock's character.
the Rock's character? I thought you were talking about the other guy.
He was, prior military guy, special ops, that we get a little bit of the story, the sob story part with that, um, because he fought the poachers and all that shit. But now he's just, a, a glorified zookeeper. You've got the evil scientists with the evil corporation that creates all this stuff, you know, and instead of trying to save the astronaut, oh, you have to grab the experiment before we let you in the rescue capsule. I mean, it's just like,
That was
just go ahead
awesome, by
and
the
set
way.
it out. Let's just set out the tone of this movie. These people are evil motherfuckers, plain and simple. I mean, yes, totally troped. I agree, and I could care less because it was simple, silly fun. So
Yeah.
now,
Uh oh. It looks like I got a little one.
hey Luke,
Mwah.
hey buddy,
Wave. Wave.
you can see me.
All right. Go. Oh yeah. No, the other tiger. The other tiger. Hold on. We got to show you the tiger.
The tiger.
Yeah, let's show him the tiger. Let's see. The tiger.
Roar. Roar.
All right.
All right, come on, buddy. Let's go now.
Oh yeah. Well, so Rampage. Okay. Rampage was
Rampage was exactly what you expected it to be. Nothing
yes, it
more,
was.
nothing less. It's not bad.
I just maybe after maybe I have a tolerance of like a couple a year before I get tired of them. I think that was like the one too far.
Could be.
Yeah.
Then again, you guys go see pretty much every movie that comes out, so
No, I mean,
almost.
I guess the bigger movies. I mean, Movie Pass while it lasts is great for that.
Right.
So, but so do we want to talk Infinity War?
Yeah, we can talk Infinity War.
All right. So spoilers beyond this point. If you don't want to listen to it, turn it off. Okay. This is your last. This is your only warning. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Okay. Now, just to make sure, again, we put the spoiler warning out there. So, just in case you're wondering, Batman fucking dies in Infinity War. So does Superman. So does Green Lantern.
Yep.
So, yep. So, fuck you if you're still listening. No, it was so much to process.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
It was so much to process. I love the hell out of it. There were great moments if you're a Marvel movie guy that it's just wow, holy crap. The just really cool parts to the movie, great dialogue. I mean, it was the interactions between all these characters really worked well.
Yes, it did.
It was almost too much. It was just in your seat. There was not really time to breathe, so to speak. I mean, there were little parts here and there where it dragged, but I mean, overall, just it's. I'm assuming that anybody that's watching this has probably already seen it. I would honestly imagine this has the shortest run in history because everybody was like, "Oh my god, I got to go see it so I don't get spoiled."
Right.
If they actually gave a shit. So yeah, I mean, 2 hours and 40 minutes makes a long movie, even when it's full of awesome shit. There are things about it that bother me, but overall it was pretty pretty incredible and very ballsy the way they ended it.
Yes, I have always had complaints about this, and I don't know how many times I've gone over this with you, but my main issue was they never killed off the heroes. You know, they always they had what I call hero scope or hero creep, where every single kind of anti-hero became a part of the Avengers, to where you have an unbelievable amount of people that you had to include in these films, and they finally decided that, you know what, let's narrow that down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it fits with the plot, and it sort of makes sense. And I kind of, based on the fact that there's another Avengers movie coming out next year that was originally titled Infinity War Part 2. So, gee, I wonder what it's going to be.
Right.
So, it's kind of interesting that, with the ending the way it was, the characters they decided to remove were pretty much all the new ones.
Well, not only that, some of the ones that they removed have movies coming up.
Yeah. So it kind of, it kind of kills the.
That takes me out of it right there. I mean,
right.
But that being said, I love it because now you have the original heroes still alive,
right,
and all the new people gone. How are they going to? Are the old the original Avengers going to sacrifice themselves to bring everybody back, or do what's going to? I don't know.
I'm assuming that it's going to be something along those lines, and that it's going to be the passing of the torch, so to speak, from Tony Stark to Peter Parker, or Captain America to T'Challa,
or what's her name? Tony Captain America to the soldier, Bucky.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which, in the comics at some point Bucky became Captain America for a time. I think everybody became Captain America for a time.
Bucky has been in some of the most Avengers. He's been in all 3 Captain America movies.
Yep.
This Avengers movie, maybe even an Age of Ultron, if I remember correctly.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't in. He was only in the. Was he in the Stinger for Age of Ultron? He might have been in the Stinger for that.
I don't remember.
Or no, that was a Stinger for Ant-Man. He Captain America and Falcon were in the Stinger at the end of Ant-Man that set up Civil War.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so Bucky was only in the 3 Captain America flicks, and then Infinity War, and of course the Stinger at the end of Black Panther.
Right.
So I mean, that's totally possible. He could show up there. You've got Falcon, you've got War Machine, all those guys that are still. Well, Falcon got zapped. War Machine's still around. Pretty much all the Guardians, minus Rocket, which was kind of shocking.
And Nebula,
right? Sort of Guardian, partial Guardian.
But she's from the Guardian universe.
She's from right. So it'll be interesting. But Nebula is also the one that probably knows the most about Thanos.
Right.
And from the Infinity War comics, she was integral to stopping Thanos. So
one of the interesting things I love is that they marooned Tony Stark and Nebula on Titan.
Right.
And they're just there.
Well, we don't know what happened to the Guardian ship. I don't know if it got smashed when the moon came down on Tony Stark.
Right.
I guess you could say Thanos mooned Tony Stark. So
I thought they were going to kill off Tony Stark with that shove that knife to the chest.
Yeah, and then it was the part with Doctor Strange is interesting. So
I think he did that because he knew that was the only way to stop Thanos.
He had to. He had to. I mean,
Yeah.
because he said he looked through 14 million plus possibilities. He saw one, and he said on the ship on the way there, which the banner between Strange and Stark was on point.
Yes, it
Two
was.
very egotistical guys at each other, and he said, "You and the kid, I'll let both of you die before I hand over the stone." And then what does he do? He hands over the stone.
Right.
So you know something's up. He knows something's up. He even said, this is the end game or some shit like that. So that was wholly intentional there. He didn't do it just to save Tony Stark.
Right. I totally agree with that.
There's just so much. It's so hard to remember everything that happened in the movie.
I'll give you a couple things. Gamora dead. Loki dead.
Dead. Loki
Idris
dead in the
Elba's
5
character,
seconds.
dead. Who else dies?
Heimdall,
Which one's he?
the guy who controlled the Bifrost from
That's
Thor.
Idris Elba. Yeah.
Yep. Which I guess in keeping with trope and tradition, the first guy we see killed on screen happens to be the black guy. my boss and I, we were discussing that, and he's like, "Okay," I said, "They have to kill a big character first." And he's like, "Yeah, well, they got to kill the black guy first. My boss is black." And we joke about this stuff all the time. And so we're sitting there and we're going back and forth before the movie goes back, and I'm running through my head. I go in. I'm like, "Okay," and I said it out front. I said, "Heimdall will be the first one to die." Sure as shit. I mean, at this point, it's almost a joke. Because what was it? What was the movie with Sam Jackson? The one where he gets eaten by the shark?
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea, exactly. Same thing. So.
Did you really ask me what was that movie with Sam Jackson?
Yeah, well, I could see the scene in my head, and there were so many movies with it, I couldn't pick it out. And I was sitting there going, "What movie did Samuel L. Jackson die in?" And then I was at the next. I was going to say Shark, because there you go. I mean, because let's face it, he doesn't really die in a lot of movies.
No, but it's just how you said it.
Yeah, the Sam Jackson movie, because he hasn't been in many. Only pretty much every franchise that's come out. Although I guess he has had some major deaths.
Star Wars.
Yep, he gets blown out the window in Star Wars. He gets eaten by the shark in Deep Blue Sea. He gets in Infinity War.
Yes,
he gets dissolved.
Don't forget Winter Soldier. He also dies in that too.
Well, supposedly dies in that. And I still love his tombstone in that. That's the most brilliant Easter egg they ever put in a movie. Or at least the most brilliant Easter egg in a movie that I caught without knowing it was there. Because I think I told you the story. Because I saw it on there and I see that, and they're at his graveside, and I just start busting out laughing. And my wife looks at me and she's like, "What's so funny?" I'm like, "Look at his tombstone." She's like, "Yeah, and?" I'm like, "Yeah, see what it says on there?" And she starts reading it. The path of the righteous man. Okay, what does that mean? I said, "That's Jules from Pulp Fiction." Fucking brilliant idea. Whoever did that one really nailed it, because that was hilarious. And then, oh, that's right, he gets squashed in Kong Skull Island. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's had some good deaths, but yeah, the one where he gets eaten by a shark.
Yeah. Going back to the Infinity War, what do you think about Vision dying? Do you think that's permanent?
He's a robot.
Let me ask. Of the four that I mentioned, Gamora, Loki, Heimdall, and Vision, which one of those do you think is finished dead, as in not coming back? I'm guessing Heimdall is number one.
Heimdall would be number one. If only because he doesn't really even serve a point anymore.
Right.
Thor's new hammer axe, whatever it's called, Stormbreaker. He could summon the Bifrost with that. Loki, I would say, is number 2. As much as I like Tom Hiddleston as Loki, he's pulled the death stunt before. So this might be the end for that character, at least for a little while. Gamora is a hard call. I understand if she's gone completely, but I don't see it just in the way that. I mean, it would be an interesting take to put on the rest of the characters in the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
How are they dealing with that? Yes, they had Yondu die in 2, but he was only really close to Quill's character, and there's been 3 years between when Guardians of the Galaxy 2 happened and Infinity War. So even though the timing doesn't work like that, per movie scale, that's where it is. So it'd be interesting to see how they cope with that in the end, but I give that one about a 50-50. Vision, I think, comes back simply because he was a robot, and Suri was working on him. I'm sure she made a backup of him somewhere, and then it's just building another body. I mean, he doesn't need the stone to be a character.
Right.
So, so of those 4, that's probably the order I would put them in. Overall, it's just to see them actually pull it off was amazing by and of itself. That said, it did have some flaws. There were some things I would have liked to see. Some questions I have, like Thanos gets the stones all in 2 hours and 35 minutes.
Well, that's movie time.
Movie time, but all within 2 days or however long the movie takes, right?
Well, one of the stones he has when he attacks Loki's ship to get the Tesseract. Remember the Power Stone? He did that by killing everybody on the place
Xandar.
where Guardians 1.
Xandar. Yeah,
Xandar.
He ravaged Xandar and got the Power Stone.
Right.
Which then allows him to beat the shit out of the Hulk.
Yes.
Which was... I did like that characterization between Banner and the Hulk, where the Hulk got his ass kicked and decided he was going to take his ball and go home.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, so yes, he gets the Power Stone, apparently fairly easily from Xandar. And then, of course, he gets once he has that, it's very easy to get the
Tesseract.
The Tesseract, what is that, the Space Stone? I think so.
I think so, yes.
That's the one that allows him to do the wormholes and all that. And then from there, it sort of cascades. But it makes me wonder why he didn't do it earlier. That's all.
Yeah, and I think that he was. I think we can say that he was setting things up, preparing for the eventual. It's I don't know preparation. He spent all these years preparing for that one, one power rush, I guess, to get the stones.
I guess. I mean, it's hard to say. It's a contrivance, especially since we've been seeing Thanos since the first Avengers. Which was
he in the first Avengers?
Yeah, he was at the end of the first Avengers, because he's the one that gave Loki. Remember, Loki from the first Avengers steals the Tesseract
right
at the beginning of the movie. He gets the Tesseract stone, and then gets the army, the Chitauri army, from Thanos to take over Earth. And then we see Thanos and the Stinger at the end.
What did Thanos do at the end of that? Because I remember the Stinger at the end of that one was them eating Tabuli at the
No,
restaurant.
that was the second one. That was the second stinger at the end of that.
Oh, okay.
There was the other one where Thanos says, "I'll have to do it myself" or something like that.
That's at the end of Avengers 2.
Okay, because he was at the end of Avengers 1. He was definitely there.
Okay.
Because that was the first time you saw him. Because he's the one that Loki got the army from.
Right. I have to go back and watch that one again.
Yeah.
But
And then
the first time I remember seeing him, it was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy with the Power Stone with Ronan.
Right.
And Ronan tells him to piss off, which he got away with till he got his ass kicked. But and I mean, yes, I get it. They had to establish the stones and all that, their locations and all that. The whole bit with the Soul Stone, it was cool seeing the Red Skull and all that, but that part just felt rushed.
I thought it was perfect because I love how he's crying, and he said, and she's mocking him, saying, "Ha ha, you don't know, you don't love anything." But nope, I do love you. Click.
Yep.
Bye bye.
And I mean, the execution of it was good. It just seemed a little movie magic that, oh yeah, Gamora found the stone, but I'm not going to tell anything. But she told Nebula that, who magically records everything. That
was kind of annoying.
It just nobody knows where the Soul Stone is. Oh, but Gamora. Oh, I know. All of a sudden, I know where it is. Let's go find Thanos. Probably not a smart idea. And if and she tells Quill, hey, if he catches me, kill me because I know where the stone is. Okay, maybe they should rethink their plan at that point. Just saying.
Well, by then he had the Reality Stone as well.
Right. But they went to him, and that allowed him to catch her, and then get the Soul Stone because she caved because he was torturing Nebula. It just that little bit of plot contrivance bothered me.
I boiled it down to arrogance that Gamora thought that she could take on her father, her stepfather.
True. I mean, yes, that there is that, but it felt like it was sort of tacked on, rather than just like with all the other stones, they had established them earlier.
I'll tell you one scene that made me question things was when they first killed Thanos in the middle of the movie. I thought they couldn't have killed Thanos. Now he was, he was this big badass. They killed him. I was like, they wouldn't do this.
When she knifed him.
But they did it to Snoke, so maybe they did do this. And then all of a sudden he was just messing with reality.
It's a reality stone, right. Which I pretty much figured out as soon as they got there, and she got that close to him. But anyway, the other thing that, and this is more of a minor quibble than anything else, it really didn't have the scene I wanted to see in it, which was, with Banner being in the Hulkbuster armor.
Right.
I wanted to see him getting, at the end, when Thor appears, with Groot and Rocket. And, just as the heroes are all getting beaten down, I really wanted to see the Hulkbuster armor just swarmed by whatever the creatures they were fighting are. And all of a sudden, just all of them just go flying. All the pieces of the armor go flying, and the Hulk just comes out and just starts smashing things. I really wanted to see that. That would have been just, I mean, yes, it's, again, trope move, but holy shit, to watch, Banner getting pounded down, and then all of a sudden the Hulk just busts out and just starts kicking everybody's ass.
Right.
But I didn't get that. But that would have been a truly badass moment. That said, most of the comedy was on point. Groot shows up. I am Groot. I'm Steve Rogers.
Or how about this? Where's Gamora? Who's Gamora? I'll get you one better. Why Gamora?
Yeah. Drax once again was hilarious.
Yes.
The whole That is a perfect role for Dave Bautista. He's absolutely hilarious in that role. Almost too much in Guardians 2. That was one of the reasons I didn't like it, because he didn't have that dark edge that you saw in the original Guardians. But
Right.
this felt much better. You still saw that once he got close to Thanos at the end. And all right, one more nitpick. So we've got all these things going on, and the final battle on Titan between, you got Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Star-Lord, Iron Man, Nebula, and was Drax there? Yeah, Drax and Manus were there. And you've got, Doctor Strange, creating portals, and Quill's jumping through them, shooting and coming out the other side, and all this sort of stuff, and jumping all around, right? So as they've got him captured, as they're holding that, and they're trying to get the gauntlet off his arm, why didn't Strange just create a portal for them to jump through with his arm, and then close the portal, and have his arm drop 20 feet over there? Gauntlet's off his arm. Thanos has no arm.
Right.
I just, especially since they used it in the beginning of the movie with one of the bad guys in the New York battle.
Maybe Thanos was too powerful for that, I guess.
Some and this goes into that movie plot hole thing, and we've talked about it before. One or two lines of dialogue fixes all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because Doctor Strange was holding him with those whips or whatever, the Crimson Gauntlet, whatever they're called. They're called something in the comic. But he was restraining Thanos with those. So it could have been said, Tony Stark could have said, "Hey, how about you open a portal and let us jump through with his arm?" I can't. I'm holding him, and then said and done. Right. Said and done. No plot hole.
I think
things like that.
I think you mentioned it best. That's a nitpick, if there ever was one.
I fully admit it. It's an absolute nitpick, but it's there. It's like you see them doing this. It's stuff that they've done in the same movie. So, and yes, maybe they didn't think of it, but he did it to Loki in Ragnarok. Remember Doctor Strange's cameo, and he just drops Loki in, and Loki just
falls for 20 minutes.
Exactly. Until he comes crashing on the floor of the Sanctorium. And the same thing that Doctor Strange could have done with Hela, for that matter. Again, it's things like that are just they're in-universe things that they could do that, when you sit and reflect on the movie, it's like, well, why didn't they do this? Every movie has it. It's just, I hate when it's obvious, and that one was kind of obvious to me.
Wouldn't it make a horribly short movie if they did things logically all the time?
Well, yeah, there's that too. There's that,
All right, so my only, like I said before, the only problem I had with that movie was the fact that they killed off characters that I know are going to come back.
Right.
But again, now I'm excited to see how they bring them back.
Yeah, and it's not. It's just like watching a prequel at this point. I mean, yes. Let's face it. It's like watching the Star Wars prequels, good or bad. You know what's going to happen because you know where the characters end up. You know Anakin becomes Darth Vader.
Right.
You know that Padme has twins and they become Luke and Leia, and that Obi-Wan becomes a hermit. So it's not so much the destination, but it's really the journey. That said, it does take it out of the movie, and I think we've talked about this before too. Like in Black Panther. I'd already seen the previews for Infinity War, so T'Challa's, Killmonger throwing T'Challa off the waterfall, we all know he's not dead. Because we just saw the Infinity War trailer.
And I think I told you that when we were going to see Pacific Rim.
Right. I mean, it's just, it's little things like that. Or, that when a trailer or another movie gives it away, and honestly, the best example I have of that, and it happens in all the Marvel movies. And I know they want the trailers to, be impressive and all that. But imagine this. Thor Ragnarok. You've seen Ragnarok, right?
Yeah.
Imagine, as they've said, they're building up to, the big fight with the Grandmaster, with his champion. And you've heard, Loki said, I haven't seen his champion, but I know he's exquisite or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just building this up. And, the whole scene, Thor walks in, doesn't have his hammer. He's just gotten his hair cut. He's got, some sword and a, shield and helmet. He's pretty much down on his luck at this point. And then all of a sudden, the Grandmaster does his introduction, and you see the puffs of green and all that. And the Hulk comes busting out. But you knew that from the trailer.
Right.
Imagine going into that cold, and all of a sudden the Hulk comes out, and it's just like, holy shit, it's the Hulk! But you're robbed of that moment because of the trailers.
True, but the trailers wouldn't have been as great without that moment.
I agree. I mean, I don't see, with as integral as the Hulk was in Ragnarok, how you could have kept it a secret. But if they could have, they should have.
I agree.
Because that one moment, I looked at the way they filmed it and everything, and it's supposed to be a shock. And you just get the little hints here as he says, "The incredible," and you see the puffs of green smoke and everything everywhere. And it's like, all of a sudden you're expecting, you don't know what to expect, and then all of a sudden the Hulk comes out. He's got the armor on, and he's just like ready to just rip somebody else. And then Thor drops his one-liner of, "Oh, I know him from work." If that hadn't been in the trailer, it would have killed. Instead of,
it would have.
"Oh, I know what happened." That would have absolutely been a killer moment.
I agree.
And that's really what's disappointing to me in the Marvel movies as a whole. And maybe it's me, maybe I just know too much. But if you go see any movie, you see the trailer for the next Marvel movie.
Yes.
So again, like you were saying, we know that there's another Guardians of the Galaxy movie coming out. We know there's another Spider-Man movie coming out.
Is the same thing with Black Panther?
Has that been officially confirmed, or was it just something Tom Holland said? I think it was something that Tom Holland said, that there was another Black Panther.
Well, I mean
they'd be absolutely fucking stupid not to make another one.
I was about to say, with all the money that they made off of Black Panther, yeah. But like you mentioned earlier, my concern for Black Panther was not that it was just an okay movie, because it was just, I knew that there were no stakes for Black Panther to ever die or lose his crown. It wasn't there for me, so I was like, okay, well, fine. He's going to win at the end, so why am I worried?
Exactly. I mean, it was still a great flick, and I enjoyed the action in it. I really did like the way the movie went. But it, as an action movie, it was fantastic. But at the end of the day, like you said, we know what happens.
Right. What I'm hoping for, though, is for Black Panther 2 to actually have a better plot. It's not an origin story.
Right. And I really hope we get away from the origin stories at this point.
I agree. I'm so for that as well.
So.
I wasn't a big fan of the Spider-Man Homecoming either, because of the same reason.
I'll disagree with you there. I liked Homecoming because we didn't say, "Oh, this is Peter Parker. He's gotten bitten by a radioactive spider." It really took, you had a lot of that for granted since the character was introduced in Civil War. You didn't need all of that. Everybody knows the story of Peter Parker. Everybody knows the story of Uncle Ben. Now, of course, any story where they would have had more of Aunt May, I would be happy with.
Marissa Tomei, always.
Marissa Tomei. Wow, never thought I would say I want to see more of Aunt May in a Spider-Man flick, but anytime, dude, absolutely anytime. Can we just have an Aunt May movie? Fuck Tom Holland. I want to see Aunt May. But I thought it was a good story of integrating a character that everybody already knows into the Marvel universe without saying, "Oh, hi, this is Peter Parker." Everybody knows who Spider-Man is. We've had 5 Spider-Man films already, just not in the Marvel universe. So it was nice to take it and still see him growing and see, how he integrates sort of into the story, as well as you didn't have a big bad guy. The world wasn't at stake with what Spider-Man was with was Michael Keaton's character's name?
Vulture.
Vulture. Thank you. It wasn't, the world wasn't at stake with that.
Right.
This was just a guy trying to make some money and do that. So it was nice to see it as a smaller film, so to speak. It wasn't a worldwide threat. Here's this kid dealing with it. I thought it was well done when it comes to that, without being the traditional origin. So, which Black Panther went right back to. And since we had that plus Doctor Strange plus Ant-Man, it's kind of heavy on introducing new characters.
And Captain Marvel is going to be similar next year.
Yep. So we got another origin story. And I don't know what else is coming. I mean, we've got the other sequels that we talked about.
But that's after Avengers 4.
Right. Well, I would imagine Guardians and Spider-Man have to be. Because
Black Panther.
Yeah, because they're not really. Unless you want to see the adventures of all of them inside the Soul Stone.
One thing that I want to know, though, with Ant-Man and the Wasp, which comes out in July, is that going to happen before or after Infinity War?
Right. That's a good question, and we don't know that yet. So
I could have sworn I heard that it was going to happen before. It happens before.
It may happen before, and maybe at the end, it sort of maybe something happens at the end to tie it into Infinity War.
I would love to see Ant-Man watch as Pym and the Wasp just disintegrate.
Yeah, which of course would bring him back in for Avengers 4.
Right, exactly.
And then you could have a stinger that shows, since we didn't see him in there either, Hawkeye's family disappearing.
Yes.
As well, to bring him back. Yeah. So we've got the whole thing. Or hell, who knows? Maybe at the end, Ant-Man disappears too. So it's just the original Avengers to try to rescue everybody else. So
it should be interesting.
I think we'll see one way or another some clue as to where they're going at the end of Ant-Man.
Right.
With Avengers 4. Because I don't think are there any other, I guess Captain Marvel scheduled before. So it's just Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, and then Avengers 4.
Correct.
I don't know. After we got, Spider-Man Ragnarok, or I guess it was Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Ragnarok, Black Panther, and Infinity War, all within what was that? Less than a year.
Yeah.
That they, because I guess, when did Civil War hit? I guess it's
2016.
Been. Yeah. So, I guess it's been. It's just seemed very heavy for the last year to build up to this, and now so I guess they're going to try to space it apart some. I don't know. The other thing is I think they pissed off a couple of the less than hardcore Marvel fans with this, because at the end of the movie, some people were like, "I paid money for this, for it to end that way." So
I wanted to pay money for that ending.
Yeah, I applaud them for that ending.
Yes,
it's frustrating. It's like, no, it's Halo 2's ending over and over again. It's like, fuck.
All right. I think we got to call it an end for the night, but tune in next time.
Yep. Maybe it'll be 3 men again. Maybe Ranger was taken with the snap. Maybe that's what it was.
Right. So we'll be back after Avengers 4 with all four of us.
All four of us.
Yes.
Who's four?
Well, it's going to be the fourth is going to be one of my Infinity Stones that I'm going to have.
Ah. Okay. All right. So you're gonna get it on the hand. You're not gonna do the vision thing and put it in the head.
No, hand. Like one for each knuckle.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Heather's got some bedazzled shit you can do to sort of test fit it.
Sweet. I'm there.
Okay. All right.
All right. Later.
All right. Later.